can become free from all. Hare Krishna. Whoever touches the water of the Ganges to his head surely touches the lotus feet of the Lord directly and can become free from all effects of the sinful acts. Yeah. So here it's explained that the Ganges came actually started from the lotus feet of the Lord. So Ganges water is actually non-different, and anybody come in touch with the Ganges will get the mercy of the Lord. Next verse, text 6. Muhur grinanto vachasanugraga sakhalat padena shava kritayani taj jana kirita sahasra mani praveka pradyotitodham fana sahasram. Yeah. So Kirita means helmet. Kirita words comes many times during the book. Kirita means helmet. So the four Kumaras headed by Sanat Kumara, who all knew the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, glorified the Lord in rhythmic accents with selected words full of affection and love. At that time, Lord Sankarsana, with his thousands of raised hoods, began to radiate an effulgence from the glowing stones on his head. A profusion of such selected words come from a devotee who is fully absorbed in affection and love for the devotional service of Lord. Yeah. So the Lord is sometimes addressed as Uttama Shloka, which means one who is worshipped with selected words by the devotees. So this Uttama Shloka word is very important. Another name for Lord Krishna, which means that worship with selected words by devotees. So a profusion of such selected words comes from a devotee who is fully absorbed in affection and love for the devotional service of the Lord. So actually, if you see Prabhupada, when Prabhupada constructed temple worldwide, so like in London, Prabhupada gave the name Radha Landaneshwara. So there are many people, you heard that, they say that this name Radha Landaneshwara not there in scripture. How come Prabhupada gave this name? But we see here in Prabhupada write the profusion of such selected words come from a devotee who is fully absorbed in affection and love for the devotion service of the Lord. So we should understand that scriptures are describing the glories of Lord to a very, very great extent, but scriptures are also limited. They cannot describe the glories of Lord to the fully extent because glories of Lord are unlimited. But to speak about all the Vedas, scriptures, actually Lord is unlimited. The Lord Sankarsana, it is said that Lord Sankarsana with his billions and thousands and billions of hoods is describing the glories of Lord from the time immemorial, and every mouth is speaking different glories, and still going on, and it's never going to be finished. So when Prabhupada gave a name to Krishna, we should not think that it's not there in scripture, because Krishna can have unlimited names which are even beyond the scope of scriptures. And the love and affection from the pure devotee heart can give any unlimited name. So we should not doubt on this thing. And in other words, without the development of fine affection and love, one cannot offer prayers to the Lord very suitably. So what is the solution? Like we can say that right now I don't have love for Krishna. How can we offer prayers? So the safest thing is we can repeat the prayer which are given by our acharyas. So in Bhagavatam there are a lot of prayers, and there are a lot of prayers outside Bhagavatam. Our acharyas, all our Vaishnava songs are full of prayers. So this we can repeat our acharyas, and we can pray to our acharyas that we don't have that bhakti, but you are pure. You have a lot of bhakti. Please bless us so that we can have little affection for, or like then we can pray. So this is for us right now. So, but we should understand that Prabhupada clearly said that without the development of fine affection and love, one cannot offer prayers to the Lord very suitably. So Prabhupada told that don't worry, when iron, although it doesn't have the qualities of fire. So now our acharyas, they are very pure devotees. So we can compare them, their devotion to be fire. But we are like iron. So we don't have that qualities of pure devotion. That's okay. But when we constantly come, when iron was put in fire for a longer time, and slowly the iron become red hot. And then when you bring paper in touch of that iron, paper will burn. So that means that iron now being after being in constant association of fire develop the qualities of the fire. So similarly, although I say that I don't have devotion, but our acharyas, these people have great devotion. So we should be try to get the constant association of our acharyas, constant association of devotees. And when we come in their association for a longer time, sincerely will take association, sincerely will try to follow their instructions, then automatically Krishna will bless us and we will develop the devotion for Lord. And then with the development of fine affection and love, we can also offer the prayers very easily. So that's not a difficult thing. It will take little endeavor and sincerity, and we can also follow the process very easily. So that is the hope. So text 7. Who can preach Srimad Bhagavatam? One who heard nicely from a bona fide authority. Hearing and chanting must be very, very nice. Yeah. So actually, one mind that who all of us are struggling for chanting every day, right? So, but I will tell you frankly that till last month, it was very difficult for me to chant because I got a habit of using phone. I don't know who all of you, among you all there, are having the habit, but please now, I am sincerely confessing that till last month, I was having a habit of using phone during japa, but somehow or other, I worked on it and I can say that for now more than 1 month, I am not using phone. So can anybody tell that who are having similar type of problem? So I will tell you what I did to get out of it so that we can help each other. Hare Krishna. Can anybody want to reply for this?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, I am also like.
Yeah, you are also using phone. Yeah. So till last month, I was using many times. Yeah, and I was struggling because I could not come out of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier, I also used to complete my rounds by 8 o'clock, Prabhuji. But nowadays, actually, I am going to Bangalore. I am attending. I mean, it's taking almost 1 hour there. So yeah, I mean, because of that means I am I am attending Girish Prabhuji class in the morning session. So that is the reason, yeah, the I'm unable to complete in morning. Earlier, I used to complete morning without any phone and all. Yeah, but nowadays it is taking only 8 to 10 rounds. I'm able to chant before 9 o'clock. Means before 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling, Prabhuji. Means initially I thought chanting 16 rounds is very easy. Like initial days of the when I started.
If we are
One,
struggling, that means a good sign. Don't worry.
yeah, initially I thought
If
everybody
we are
says
not
16.
struggling, if anybody not struggling, then it's a problem. If we are struggling, means that we are on a right way. No problem.
Yeah, now actually I'm focusing only on to complete 16 rounds, Prabhuji. Whether it is quality or when
Yeah.
yeah, means
So
only
Prabhuji,
I'm trying to.
what I did actually, I replaced phone with a nameplate with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So earlier I had a habit of bringing phone in front of me and doing my japa. So now I bring that Hare Krishna Mahamantra plate and keep it in front. So I look there. Whenever I want to see something, I look there only. I don't look anywhere else. And second thing is, when I do japa, I try to sit straight and in a little isolated place. Like we see, if we go to Mayapur, and if we go to another places, we saw all our acharyas, they have their personal bhajan kuti inside their house or outside their house somewhere. They have a small place where they have a personal bhajan kuti, which is like isolated from the words with minimum direction, distractions. So when we do japa, where there's so much distraction like walking japa or going out and doing japa, that is very, very distracted. So best thing is we should take a isolated place inside our house or somewhere where in front of us there should be nothing, maybe some wall. And I put one Hare Krishna mantra plate there. So I just look there. And if I do japa, I'll sit there. If I have some other work, I'll stop my japa, do that work, then I come. And so this is one thing. If in my mind, certain time during japa, my mind say, yeah, no, I think this work is very, very important. Okay, important. But stop japa, finish that work, come back, start japa. So it's not like that two things together. Earlier I used to do many things during japa. So now when I do japa, if I want to, suddenly my mind says something is very, very prioritized. Some message I have to send, whatever. Or I have to talk to somebody. Stop japa, finish the job, come back, start japa. Like that. And moreover, first, like I try to focus fully or at least for 4 rounds because I don't know, I cannot focus fully for 16 rounds. So I focus that 4 round is a one set. I'll focus fully. Then I'll take a break because I can't continue now. It's tired. So I'll take 5 minute break. Then I focus another 4 rounds like that. Small break. Something we have to do, but like Chaitanya Prabhuji came, then he told that you should make small targets and try to achieve them rather than making a very big target and failing. So don't teach your mind the habit of getting failing. So you cannot make a big target like we asked me and Mr. Prabhu were there. We asked about how to get discipline in our devotional life. So Prabhuji told like you are waking up at 6 o'clock and you want to wake up at 4 o'clock. So you cannot one day you can do, but if you want to make it a habit, you cannot suddenly make a target. Yet tomorrow I'll wake up at 4 o'clock, and 2 3 days you do, and next one whole month you are not able to continue that, and then your mind will say, "Arey, kal bhi nahi kiya, aaj bhi nahi kiya." That's okay. But instead of that, make small target. Make a endeavor of waking up 15 minutes early for at least 1 month, and then try to win that situation. Then your mind will get, ah, ye ho gaya. Next another. Like that, make small targets. So I don't make a target of doing 16 rounds quality, but at least 2 rounds quality, 3 rounds quality I can do. Then take a break, do another 3 rounds quality like that. Something, somehow that. So, but we should not fail now. We should make a habit of winning a war, and the target could be very small. Then our mind will adopt that habit of winning, and then we can increase the load like that. That's what I follow. I don't know. Somebody else can comment better. Going to go earlier and is there. Yeah. So we'll continue. Yeah. Hearing and chanting must be very nice because Bhagavatam stresses that hearing and chanting should be very nice. Very nice doesn't mean that you have to hear a lot or you have to chant whole day. No. But whatever you chant, whatever you hear, that quality should be there. So now in the Zoom, but my personal thing is most of the time I just log in and don't listen. So I try to make it a habit that I will not log in, but that is also sometimes don't work. But don't worry. But whenever at least we hear personally, face to face, we should be very serious, sincerely hearing. And same thing goes for chanting. Whenever we do, we should be very serious. So because Krishna likes endeavor when we do very sincerely. So Krishna doesn't see the quantity; he only sees the quality. So that is the thing. So we should try to focus now more on quality. Radhanath Maharaj says that one person just by peeling a potato can be a very high level of devotion, and one person doing deity worship in the temple, it could when if mind is not there fully, then it's not much benefit. Yeah. So this is what our Acharya stresses, and here we see in this Bhagavatam also that should be very quality. Quality is very stressed here. Yeah. So we'll read this verse, text 7. Proktam kilita bhagavatam nivritti dharma viratvaya tena sanat kumaraya sacho prishta sankaya nayagraha dhrita vitaya. Translation. Lord Sankarshana thus spoke the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam to the great sages Sanat Kumara, who had already taken the vows of renunciation. Sanat Kumara also, in his turn, when inquired of by Sankhya Muni, explained Srimad Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Sankarshana. So one hears, Prabhupada says here in Prabhupada, unless one hears from the proper authority, one cannot become a preacher. So it's very important if we want to speak to somebody the message of Bhagavatam. First, we should be very sincerely hearing from our authorities, and moreover, we should take their permissions also. We should not just say, "Yeah, I have done. Now I want to speak." So actually, this devotion life, but I understand till date is actually it's always should be under very guidance. Like Prabhupada mentioned also in purport that this Krishna conscious movement is under the direct supervision of Rupa Goswami. So even Prabhupada, we see that he always used to take guidance from his acharyas, his authorities. And once we become sincere, then guidance will come also from inside. It's not like we have to always take personal one-on-one guidance. Yeah, but till we come to that level, we should be regularly taking guidance. And then once we are a little matured, then guidance will also come from inside, from our heart. So in devotion service, therefore, 2 items out of the 9, namely hearing and chanting, are the most important. Without hearing nicely, one cannot reach the message of Vedic knowledge. So yeah, so this is one thing I recently heard, that this is one thing where in this ISKCON devotees are lacking in about reading scriptures regularly and hearing regularly, because this is what we are not taking the vow, right? For initiation, we all take the vow that we will chant 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, but nobody take the law. Yeah, I will read at least 1 hour daily. I will hear at least 1 hour daily. Like that, we don't take the vow. So we should understand that although we don't take the vow, but we cannot progress also until we hear from our senior Vaishnavas regularly. So, and that too in a very, very sincere method. So that should, then now it's very easy. Now we all got electronic gadgets and we can hear so many things, but we should try to be very, very sincere in what we hear. Next, text 9. Sankhyayaः parama hamsaya mukhyo vivakramano bhagavat vibhuti jagadaso samad guruve nivita pra parasharayat brahaspateshvaha brahaspatescha. Parashar and Brahaspati. Shankaraya means the great sage. Shankaraya, the great sage Shankarayana, was the chief among the transcendentalists, and when he was describing the glories of the Lord in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, it so happened that my spiritual master Parashara and Brahaspati both heard him. Yeah, text 9. Text 9 will came to know that sage is submissive and inquisitive to Shankarsha. Story. Parashara, yeah. In this purport, now we'll read through purport only. Story. Very nice story given by Prabhupada there. Yeah. Provachamahayam sa dayalur ukto muni kulastena puranam adam soham tavetat kateyam vatsa shraddhayaleva श्रद्धालवे नित्य मनोव्रताय. Taluka means kind-hearted. Pulasya. Pulastena means the sage, by the sage, Pulasya. And Nitya means always. Anuvartanaya means unto one who is a follower. So the great sage Parashara, as aforementioned, being so advised by the great sage Pulasya, spoke unto me, the foremost of the Puranas, Bhagavatam. I shall also describe this before you, my dear son, in terms of my hearing, because you are always my faithful follower. Purport. I will read this purport fully. Sorry, as story. The great sage of the name Pulasya is the father of all demonic descendants. Once upon a time, Parashara began a sacrifice in which all the demons were to be burned to death, because his father had been killed and devoured by one of them. The great sage Vashishta Muni arrived at the sacrifice and requested Parashara to stop the deadly action. And because of Vashishta's position and respect in community of sages, Parashara could not deny the request. Parashara, having stopped the sacrifice, Pulasya, the father of the demons, appreciated his Brahminical temperament and gave the blessings that in the future he would be a great speaker of Vedic literature called the Puranas, the supplements of the Vedas. Parashara's action was appreciated by Pulasya because Parashara had forgiven the demon out of his Brahminical power of forgiveness. Parashara was able to demolish all the demons in the sacrifice, but he considered demons are so made that they devour their living creatures, men and animals. But why on that account should I withdraw my Brahminical qualification of forgiveness? As a great speaker of the Puranas, Parashara first of all spoke on the Srimad Bhagavad Purana, because it is the foremost of the Puranas. Maitreya Muni described to narrate the same Bhagavatam he heard from Parashara, and Vidura was qualified to hear it because of his faithfulness and his following the instructions received from superiors. So Srimad Bhagavatam was being narrated from time immemorial by disciplic succession, even before the time of Vyasadeva. The so-called historians calculate the Puranas to be only a few hundred years old, but actually the Puranas existed from time immemorial because all historical calculations by the mundane and speculative philosophers. So here we understand, we know this, we learn from this story that we there is very good qualities of Brahminical qualities. There are many Brahminical qualities described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18. The qualities of Brahmana are described, but here it is given that the quality of forgiveness is very very important, and because this sage Parashara give the forgiveness, he forgive the demons, so he was being blessed to understand Bhagavatam. So that's why we understand that why Prabhupada gave these four everyday principles, because the main Kali Yuga Dharma, Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga is Harinam. So we should focus on Harinam. Why four everyday principles? Because once we follow the four everyday principles, the good qualities come, then we will be blessed to understand Bhagavatam. We will be blessed to chant nicely. So it's very important that four everyday principles should be followed very sincerely, and then we will develop very nice good qualities. And once that ground is ready, then we can accept Harinam. Otherwise, it's very difficult to concentrate on Harinam if we don't follow the four regular principles. So people also ask why onion garlic we should leave, because it's not conducive for our devotion service. So anything anukulena we should accept, and pratikulena we should reject. Like that. Even NOI, Nectar of Instructions, tell that. Yeah. Text 10. Further story of Brahmaji's birth. Prayers in the next chapter. So now we'll start about the story of Brahmaji, how Brahmaji took birth, and after taking birth, Brahmaji did the prayers, which we will read next week in next chapter. Yeah. Yes. Uda plutam vishwam idam tas tada shevan tadasid yanni drayami litat and nayami layat अहिन्द्रतल्पे अधिशयान एकः कृतक्षण स्वतामर्तो निरिः. So Ahi Indra, the great snake Ananta, Talpe, on the bed of. At that time, when the three worlds were submerged in water, Garbhodakshai Vishnu was alone, lying on his bedstead. The great snake Ananta, and although he appeared to be in slumber in his own internal potency, free from the action of external energy, his eyes were not completely closed. Open. The Lord is eternally enjoying transcendental bliss by his internal potencies, whereas the external potency is suspended during the time of dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. Yeah. So there are two types of creations. One is Lord's personal creation, which is done by his internal potency, and there is this Bhautik Jagat, which is done by Lord external potency. So when dissolution comes, when everything is being annihilated inside the body of Lord, that time internal potency only acts and external potency will just take rest. Yeah, suspended form. So text 11. So anatah sharire arpita bhuta sukshma kalatmikam shakti mudirayana uvasa tasmin salile padesve yatha nalodu taruni ruddh viryaha. Kala Atmikam, the form of time. Just like the strength of fire within fuel wood, the Lord remained within the water of dissolution, submerging all the living entities in their subtle bodies. He lay in their self invigorated energy called Kala. Yeah. So it's very nice analogy. Fire is within the wood. The Lord remained within the water of the dissolution, submerging all living entities in their subtle body. So it explained that at the time of dissolution, we all bodies who are not yet liberated, who are in the material world, they all will enter in the body of Lord in the form of their subtle body and remain there till Lord did the creation again. So after the three words, the upper, lower, and middle planetary system merged into the water of dissolution. The living entities of all the three words remained in their subtle bodies by dint of energy called kala. In this dissolution, the gross bodies became unmanifest, but the subtle bodies existed, just like water of the material creation. Thus, the material energy was not completely bound up, as in the case of a full dissolution of the material world. Textual. How long Garbhodaksha Vishnu slept? Chaturyuganam cha sahasrabapsu swapana swayodi ritaya swashaktya kala kala khaya yada yasadit karma tantro lokana pitana drishe swadehe. Yeah, here one very important word, apita. Apita means bluish. So the Lord lay down for 1,000 cycle of 4 yugas in his internal potency, and by his external energy, he appeared to be sleeping within the water. When the living entities were coming out for further development of their fruitive activities, actuated by the energy called Kala Shakti, he saw his transcendental body as bluish. So the body of Lord was seen to be bluish because it's explained by our Acharya that Vishwanath Chakravarti says that because these living entities who are inside the body of Lord, they are from material world and they are having lot of sins. So because of their sin, they become blue. And when they all enter inside the body of Lord, so Lord body also turns blue, purple. Sleeping with Maya Shakti, awake with energy. Yeah. So these are the one of the quality of Lord, like Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chame Dityam. So here we can understand that Lord is also sleeping, but he is also awake at the same time. So two in one. So Lord's activities, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Yeah. In the Vishnu Purana, Kala Shakti is influence of the Kala Shakti is that one has to work in the material world for fruitive results. Yeah, this is very, very important line. I really like this. The fruitive workers are described in Bhagavad Gita as mudas or foolish. Such foolish living entities are very enthusiastic to work for some temporary benefit within perpetual bondage. One thinks himself very clever throughout his life if he is able to leave behind him a great asset of wealth for his children, and to achieve this temporary benefit, he takes a risk of all sinful activities without knowledge that such activities will keep him perpetually bound by the shackles of material bondages. Due to his this polluted mentality and due to material sins, the aggregate combination of living entities appear to be bluish, contaminated with karma. Such an impetus of activity for fruitive result is made possible by the dictation of the external energy of the Lord Kala. Yeah. So this is how Prabhupada is telling that unnecessary endeavor doing by fruitive works, and what they are achieving nothing but under the spell of material energy. You all are forced to undergo. तस्यार्थ सूक्ष्म विनिविष्ट विष्टते रन्तर्गतो अर्थो रजसा तनीयान् गुणेन कालानुगतेन विद्धः सूक्ष्म सद्धाभिदत्त नाभिदेशात्. Translation. The subtle subject matter of creation on which the Lord's attention was fixed was agitated by material mode of passion, and thus the subtle form of creation fires through his abdomen. सपाद्मकोशः सहसोदतिष्ठत कालेन कर्म प्रतिबोधनेन स्वरोचिता तत्सलीलं विशालं विद्योतयन् कर्त इवात्मयोनिः. Atmayoni means generating from personality of Vishnu. Piercing through this sum total form of the fruitive activities of the living entities took the shape of buds of lotus flower generated from the personality of Vishnu, and by his supreme will it illuminated everything like the sun and dried up vast waters of devastation. So there it is described that how from the mode of passion, Brahmaji, took birth. And first, before Brahmaji, first lotus sprouted from the navel of Lord Vishnu, and lotus grows. Yeah. Next 15. Tallokapankat kapatam tallokapadam sa yu eva Vishnu pravavishta sarva gunavavasam tasmin swayam vedamayo vidhata swayambhu swayambhuvam yam sama vadanti sobrut. So here Brahmaji is told as Swayambhu. Swayambhu means self-born. So, translation, into that universal lotus flower, Lord Vishnu personally entered as a super soul, and when it was thus impregnated with all the modes of material nature, the personality of Vedic wisdom, whom we called the self-born, was generated. So here the Brahmaji is one, but he has three forms. One is self-enjoyment, second is creation, third is Vedas promulgating. So the gross form is called Viraj Brahma, is the gross form of Lord Brahma. The subtle form is Hiranyagarbha, and that the third is the material creation force, four-headed form Brahma. So there are one Brahma and three different kinds of form. So because, yeah, actually it is very nicely explained that although Brahmaji is Lord Brahma and he is our first person in our parampara, but yes, we should understand that he took birth in material world, and the purpose Lord created Brahma is for creation. But we should understand that anybody took birth in the material world is because he has a tendency to enjoy separately from Krishna. So there are three things which are there described for this Brahma. That is, one is self-enjoyment. So the Brahma got one quality which is self-enjoyment. Second, he will do creation, and third, he will promulgate the Vedas. So the form of Brahma which will do self-enjoyment is gross form, which is called Viraja Brahma. And subtle form is Hiranyagarbha, which will do creation, and third is the four-headed Brahma, which will propagate the Vedas. Hare Krishna. Text 16. How Lord Brahma attained the four heads? Tasyam cha tasyam sa chambo ruha karnikaya mavastito lokam pashyamanaha parikramanna vayomin viprita netra shrutva lebe anudishram mukhani. Brahma, born out of the lotus flower, cannot see the world. Although he was situated in the world, he therefore circumambulated all of space, and while moving his eyes in all directions, he achieved four heads in terms of the four directions. So this is how, when Brahma was born, he don't have four heads, but then after he was took birth, then he don't know what to do, where to do, what is the purpose of my creation. So he started looking here, there, and just by that, four heads came in four directions. Text 17. Tasmad Yuganta Swashranya Karna Jalorni Chakrat Saliyat Virudham Upashrita Kanjam Yuloka Tattvam Natmana Adhavita Adideva. Uprishita means having taken shelter of. Adideva means the first demigod. Translation. Lord Brahma, situated in that lotus, could not perfectly understand the creation, the lotus, or himself. At the end of millennium, the air of devastation began to move the water and the lotus in the great circular waves. So there we can understand even Brahma got bewildered. So no one therefore can know the mystery of the creation and cosmic manifestation simply by mental speculation. The human being is so limited in his capacity that without the help of Supreme, he can hardly understand the mystery of the will of the Lord in terms of creation, continuance, and destruction. So we should understand that people say that why should I need Lord? I'm very happy, but we can't understand anything without the mercy of God. So Brahma start asking different questions to himself. Next text 18. Ka esha yo sav adham abja prishta etat kuto vapcham anayad apsu asti haya dhastadiha kinchanat dadishchitam yatra satanu bhavyam. Translation: Lord Brahma, in his ignorance, contemplated, who am I? Thus am situated on the top of this lotus. Wherefrom has it sprouted? There must be something downwards, and that from which this lotus has grown must be within the water. So then it is explained that Brahmaji actually went inside the lotus stem, but he could not find out anything. Yeah, Prabhupada is right. The most intelligent man is he who tries to find the cause of his personal existence and that of the whole cosmic creation, and thus tries to find the ultimate cause. In his attempt is proper, if his attempt is properly executed with finesse and perseverance, it is sure to be crowned with success. So next chapter we'll read first words. Prabhupada writes that the highest peak of ignorance of the living entities who are conditioned by material bodies is that they are unaware of the supreme cause of the cosmic manifestation. So this is very important. Text 19. सा इत्थम उद्रीक्ष्या तद अपचा नाला नाभि नादीभि अंतर्जलम अविशेषा नर्वागतास तद खरा नला नला नाभिम विचिन्वास तद अविद्यजनाः. Lord Brahma, thus contemplating, enter the water through the channel of the stem of the lotus, but in spite of entering the stem and going nearer to the navel of Vishnu, he could not trace out the roots. Purport: by dint of one's personal endeavor, one may go nearer to the Lord, but within the Lord's mercy, without the Lord's mercy, one cannot reach the ultimate point. Such understanding of the Lord is possible only by devotion service, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktya mam avijanati yavascha yachasmi tatvataha tato ma tatvato gyatva vishte tad anantaram. So this is very important that without bhakti, we cannot understand the Lord. So although Lord Brahma tried his best, but he could not find out anything. Tamasya pare viduratma sargam vichintavato abhuta bhumham srimeni yo deha bhajam bhayamiranyana parikshino tayayu rajaste hetihi. Translation: O Vidura, while searching in that way about his existence, Brahma reached his ultimate time, which is the eternal wheel in the hands of Vishnu and which generates fear in the mind of living entities like the fear of death. So, fear of death, death is compared to the wheel chakra in the hand of Lord Vishnu. Text 21. Tato nivritto pratilabha komaha swadishnayam ashadya punah sadevah sanerjita swasa nivarta chitto nyashinat arudhya samadhi yoga. Therefore, being unable to achieve the desired destination, he retired from such searching and came back again to the top of the lotus, thus controlling all objective. He concentrated his mind on the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So concentration of mind on the Supreme is certainly a form of devotional service. So each and every living entity needs to engage in devotional service of the Lord if he wishes to understand the ultimate cause of his existence. So instead of doing endeavor, we should try to do bhakti, and Krishna will reveal everything to us. Kalena so aja purushayushabhi pravakta yogena viruddha bodha swayam tadanta hridaye avabhat mapashyatapashyata yanna purvam. At the end of Brahma's 100 years, when his meditation was completed, he developed the required knowledge, and as a result, he could see in his heart the Supreme within himself, whom he could not see before with the greatest endeavor. The Supreme Lord can be experienced only through the process of devotion service and not by one's personal endeavor in mental speculation. One has to wait for the mercy of the Lord before one can either render service unto him or know him as he is. So it's very important. We should be Utsaha, Nishya, Dharya. Dharya is also very, very important. We should practice our devotion with full Utsaha and determination and error. Mrinal Gora Yash Shesha Bhoga Paryangam Ekam Purusham Shayanam Panat Paltrayu Tamadhura Tatra Dhurbi Harta Davanta Yoganta. Translation: Brahma could see that on the water there was a gigantic lotus-like white bedstead, the body of Sheshnaga, on which the personality of Godhead was lying alone. The whole atmosphere was illuminated by the rays of the jewels bedecking the hook of Sheshnaga, and that illumination dissipated all the darkness of those visions. Preksham Shipantam Haritopladre Sandhya Praniveru Rukar Kamamurdham Murdha Ratno Dada Rosh Diso Manasya Vansatra Venu Bhuchandi Pande. Translation: The luster of the transcendental body of the Lord mocked the beauty of the coral mountain. The coral mountain is very beautifully dressed by the evening sky, but the yellow dress of the Lord mocked its beauty. There is a gold on the summit of the mountain, but the Lord's helmet bedecked with jewels mocked it. The mountain, waterfall, herbs, etc., with a panorama of flowers seem like garlands, but the Lord's gigantic body and his hands and legs decorated jewels, pearls, tulsi leaves, and flower garlands mocked the scene of the on the mountain. The panoramic beauty of the nature, which strikes one with wonder, may be taken as a perverted reflection of the transcendental body of the Lord. One who is therefore attracted by the beauty of the Lord is no longer attracted by the beauty of material nature, although he does not minimize its beauty. In Bhagavad Gita, it is described that one who is attracted by Param, the Supreme, is no longer attracted by any inferior things. Yeah. So next verse will be directly the translation. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness and was properly ornamented. So describing the beauty of the Lord. Yeah. We'll read the prophet. The length and breadth of the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead could only be measured by his own measurement, because he is all-pervading throughout the complete cosmic manifestation. The beauty of material nature is due to his personal beauty, yet he is always magnificently dressed and ornamented to provide his transcendental variegatedness, which is so important in the advancement of spiritual knowledge. 626. The Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service, free from material contamination. Such awards are for those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the transcendental rays from his moon-like toenail and fingernail appear like the petals of the flower. So Prabhupada says that the Lord fulfills the desires of everyone just as one desires. Pure devotees are interested in achieving the transcendental service of the Lord, which is non-different from him. Therefore, the Lord is only desire of the pure devotees, and devotional service is the only spotless process for achieving his favor. So Rup Goswami says in Bhakti Ram Sindhu that Janma Karma Anavritam. Pure devotional service is without any tinge of speculative knowledge and fruitive activities. Yeah, this is very important words. We will recite this. Mukhena lokarti hara smitena parispuna parispurat kundala manditena shonayitena dhara bimbabhasa pratyaharantyam sunasena suprava. So this is describing about the Lord's beauty. Verse 27. He also acknowledged the service of the devotees and vanquished their distress by his transparent, beautiful smile. The reflection of his face, decorated with earrings, was so pleasing because it dazzles with the rays. from his lips and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows. So this verse is very important. It describes about the beauty of Lord, how beautiful the Lord is, how everybody got enchanted just by looking at him. So here Prabhupada is writing that devotees do not asking anything from the Lord in exchange of their service. Even the most desirable liberation is refused by devotees. Although offered by the Lord, thus the Lord become a kind of debtor to the devotees, and he can only try to repay the devotee service with his ever enchanting smile. So this is what satisfies the devotee just by seeing the Lord smile. The devotees are ever satisfied by the smiling face of the Lord, and they become enlivened. And by seeing the devotees so enlivened, the Lord himself is further satisfied. So there is continuous transcendental competition between the devotees and the Lord by such reciprocation of service and acknowledgement. So devotees offer the service and Lord acknowledges through his smile. Text 28. Kadamba Ginjala Vishangavatsat Swala Karitam Mekanaya Nitambe Harena Chanatata Dhanena Vatsa Srivatsa Vaksha Sthala Valalena. O my dear Vidura, the Lord waist was covered with yellow cloth resembling the saffron dust of the Kadamba flower, and it was encircled by the well-decorated belt. His chest was decorated with Srivatsa marking and a necklace of unlimited value. So here we can understand the beauty of Lord. Next text 30 in translation. As a sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flowers and branches, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. He was a self-situated tree, the Lord of all others in the universe, and a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes. So the Lord's body was also covered by the hooves of Ananta. Here in Prabhupada writing in Prabhupada that Avyakta Moolam is significant. No one can see the roots of a tree, but as far as Lord is concerned, he is the root of himself, because there is no other separate cause for his standing by himself. So Lord is Sarva Karana, cause for him. So in the Veda, it is said that the Lord is Sva Shreyasa. He is his own support, and there is no other support for him. Therefore, Avyakta means the Supreme Lord himself and no one else. Text number 30, translation. Like a great mountain, the Lord stands. Like a great mountain, the Lord stands as the abode of all moving and non-living moving living entities. He is the friend of the snakes because Lord Ananta is his friend. As a mountain has thousands of golden peaks, so the Lord has seen with the thousands of golden helmeted hoods of Ananta Naga. And as a mountain is sometimes filled with jewels, so also his transcendental body was fully decorated with valuable jewels. As a mountain is sometimes submerged in the ocean water, so the Lord is sometimes submerged in the water of devastation. So here Prabhupada described, this verse describes the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Text 31. Lord Brahma, thus looking upon the Lord in the shape of a mountain, concluded that he was Hari, the personality of Godhead. He saw that the garland of flower on his chest glorified him with Vedic wisdom in the sweet songs and looked very beautiful. He was protected by the Sudarshana wheel for fighting, and even the sun, moon, air, fire, etc., could not have access to him. So this is very important that when Brahma, we saw that Brahma was born, we could not understand anything. Then when he engaged in devotional service, Prabhupada explained that tapa, Brahmaji performed tapa, and tapa is also kind of form of devotional service because Brahmaji meditated on the form of Lord. So then it becomes a devotional service. And after he did devotional service for a very, very long time, then finally Lord came into his vision and he could see the Lord face to face. Yeah, text 32. When Lord Brahma, thus the maker of the universal destination, thus saw the Lord, he simultaneously glanced over creation. Lord Brahma saw the lake in Lord Vishnu's navel and the lotus flower as well as the devastating water and the drying air and the sky all become visible to him. By the mercy of Lord, Lord revealed himself to Lord Brahma. Text 33. Lord Brahma, thus being surcharged with the mode of passion, become inclined to create. And after seeing the five causes of creation indicated by the personality of Godhead, he began to offer his respectful prayers on the path of creative mentality. But even if one is in the material mode of passion to create something in the world, he has to take shelter of the Supreme for the necessary energy. That is the path of successful termination of any attempts. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the third canto, 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So here in this chapter we understand that how Brahmaji created, and the question between Maitri Muni reply, and the description of Brahma's birth, and after birth how Brahma got bewildered, he could not understand anything, and then finally he concluded that instead of searching here, I should meditate on Lord, and he meditated on Lord, and finally Lord, out of his mercy, he become visible to Brahma. And after Brahma got the knowledge, and then Brahma started creation from the, and for creation Brahma used the mode of passion, because to create we need passion, and Prabhupada explained that even to create we need the mercy of Lord. So we cannot say that I am independent of Lord at any time. If I create something, then I become independent. No, we are never independent of Lord, and we are always dependent on Lord. And so it's very important that this is our constitutional nature to love.
మా ఇంట్లో పాలే తాగాలి.
Hare Krishna.
అమితాకి పాలు పోయి.
And we mute him. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So it's very important that even to, we are always dependent on Krishna, and we are never independent. So it's very important that we should always perform devotional service to the Lord and make our life successful. So Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I conclude. If any more comments, you want to add something and you want to correct me somewhere, please feel free now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please any additions, corrections?
You finished it so quickly, Prabhuji. We thought we will continue for some more time.
I don't know too many things, Prabhuji. I just speak.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I think a very great beginning of the answers to the questions by Sage Vidura, and beautifully explained about the creation of Brahma. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji, any questions, comments, additional things you want to share?
Corrections. So if no question, Prabhuji, will conclude this.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.